When Kevin left the men's room of the Salix Leaf Hotel after beating up Vito and his men, he didn't see Charity or Brittany anywhere, so he pulled out his phone to text Brittany but bumped into a woman. She turned out to be Maya Hughes, one of Booker Phoenix's clients, and she was very snooty to him. She thought he was a bodyguard and threatened to have him fired. "So, the Booker Phoenix Corporation is really that powerful?" Kevin asked her. Their raised voices started to draw a small crowd. The people who were watching their argument were shocked to hear Kevin talking to her like that. They knew how important she was in the entertainment industry. Maya was so angry that her voice started to tremble. "Is there something wrong with you? Don't you have any manners?" She was scheduled to go on stage and sing a few of her new songs later, but had lost her diamond bracelet. When Kevin bumped into her, she was anxiously looking for it. Kevin seemed like a good target for her to vent her anger. Just then, Vito limped out of the men's room with some help from his bodyguards. He'd cleaned himself off, but he still smelled pretty horrible. Needless to say, he was no longer in the mood for a banquet. He was actually heading to the hospital to see if he needed to get his stomach pumped and to make sure he didn't have any permanent injuries. On the way to the exit, he was stopped by Maya, who called him over urgently. "Mr. Booker, please come help me." As Maya walked up to Vito, she picked up on his awful smell. She immediately covered her mouth and nose in disgust and subconsciously took a step back. "What's wrong?" Vito asked awkwardly. She really just wanted to vent her anger some more. "This oaf of a security guard knocked me over and then said it was my fault." "I'll teach the guy a lesson," Vito replied as he started to get angry. Just about everyone in the entertainment industry knew that Vito was a... He'd had an affair with just about every female client who worked with his company. Maya was next on his list, even though she didn't know it yet. "That's great, Vito," Maya said as her face lit up. She turned around and pointed at Kevin, who was standing nearby. "It's that blockhead." "Him?" Vito asked awkwardly. His bodyguards were as stunned as he was. Vito obviously hadn't gotten over what had just happened in the men's room. After all, he was on the way to the hospital to get checked out. "Mr. Booker, I think there must be something wrong with how your company manages its clients. They can be very rude," Kevin said with a sneer. The onlookers were shocked to hear him say this and started whispering to each other. Maya put her hands on her hips and said, "Vito, I want you to do something about this right now. If you don't throw him out in the street immediately, I'll be too upset to go on stage." "Shut up," he interrupted her. "Him again," Vito thought to himself. "I'd better not provoke the guy right now. I'll get my revenge later." "Why are you being so mean to me, Vito? It was clearly his fault," Maya said in confusion. Vito was usually so friendly to her. Why was he scolding her to defend a lowly security guard? Seeing Kevin smile at him, Vito took a deep breath, and while still feeling the pain from the beating he'd just gotten, he put his hand on Maya's shoulder and walked her over to Kevin. "Do you know who this person is?" Vito snarled. "This is the CEO of Williams Media. You're messing with the wrong guy. Just hurry up and apologize to Mr. Williams. And if he doesn't accept your apology, we're canceling your contract," Vito explained to her. Maya felt her legs grow weak. She suddenly realized that she'd been insulting someone very important for her career, not just some random security guard. "I'm sorry, sir. I really shouldn't have spoken to you like that," Maya said meekly. Everyone who saw this happen started to chatter. When they realized that Kevin was actually one of the guests of honor at the banquet, they felt extremely lucky to see him in person. But some of them were still shocked that Kevin had been able to unnerve Vito like that. "I don't have time for people like you," Kevin said calmly as he walked out of the hotel lobby. Now Vito really wanted to get revenge. A few minutes later, Kevin got to the underground parking garage. Suddenly, he felt someone hit him from behind and he blacked out. A while later, Kevin opened his eyes again. He was surprised to see that he was in handcuffs. He was even more surprised to see Gwen Archer sitting on the sofa holding a glass of red wine. "So, you're finally awake," Gwen said to him as she swirled the wine in her glass. "Miss Archer, why have you done this? Have you forgotten that I saved your life?" Kevin asked her. He was bewildered by the whole situation. "It's true that you saved my life, but I also gave you the ingredients that you used for the pill that helped you make so much progress. So as I see it, we're even, Gwen said with a straight face. Okay, Kevin replied. As long as our debt is settled, then what am I doing here? Do you have a crush on me? Kevin asked playfully. A second later, Gwen threw her glass of wine in Kevin's face. Are you sure you don't know, or are you just pretending not to know? Gwen asked as she stood up and looked down at Kevin. That's some good wine, Kevin said pleasantly. Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1982, isn't it? My brother sent his men to catch Dalton Steele's wife Miranda, but you stopped them just when they were about to get their hands on her, Gwen explained as she took a knife off the side table and pointed it at Kevin. Then she continued, I didn't know you were this bold. Did you think you could get away with interfering in Archer family business? Kevin frowned as he looked at the knife in her hand. Dalton's like a brother to me, and your people attacked his wife right in front of me. What was I supposed to do? I expected you to stay out of our affairs, she answered coldly. They were both silent for a moment. Kevin knew that Gwen wasn't the kind of person to make empty threats. Finally, it was Kevin who broke the silence. Gwen, don't get carried away. Just because I'm in cuffs, do you think you can do whatever you want with me? Not only did you ruin my brother's plans, but you also injured dozens of our people. Tell me, who got carried away? Gwen asked as she moved her knife even closer to Kevin. If you have the strength to fight back, you should do it now. Otherwise, you'll find out what happens to people who challenge me, Gwen threatened him. I guess I don't have a choice, Kevin said as he took a deep breath and focused his energy. The handcuffs burst from his wrists, and Gwen took a few steps back in astonishment. She almost fell to the floor and her knife skittered across the room. When she stood up again, Kevin was holding the night dagger to her throat. Her henchman should really have done a better job of searching him. If you have the guts, then go ahead and kill me, she said fearlessly. But keep this in mind. This is my private estate. There are dozens of guards on the property. If they don't hear from me in 2 hours, they'll rush in here and you won't stand a chance against them. Don't try to scare me. Anyway, I'm sure your life is worth more than mine, Kevin said grimly. Are you threatening my life? Gwen interrupted him angrily. Wait a second. I didn't ask to come here. You kidnapped me, Kevin said calmly. The atmosphere in the room suddenly got very tense. Gwen just stared at Kevin, unsure as what to do next. For one thing, she had just seen Kevin's power and focus, so she wasn't going to act rashly. After a long pause, Gwen broke the silence and said, I know I can't do anything to you, but you also wouldn't dare to hurt me. How about we make a deal? Gwen asked him coolly. What do you have in mind? Kevin replied nonchalantly. Thanks to the herbal medicines he discovered, there were few people who could hurt him now, in Chicago or even in the entire country. My brother Dominic told me that you sold him a special pill and then gave another one to Quinn, Gwen said as she started to get a greedy look in her eyes. But I'll bet you still have another one. Are you telling me that you went to all this trouble just for that? Kevin said with a smirk. That's right. As long as you give me the pill, I'll pretend that nothing happened today, and I'll guarantee that you can leave here safely, Gwen offered. That's all you want? Kevin asked as he reached into his pocket and pulled one out. Give it to me now, she said excitedly. Although Gwen had been training for years, she felt blocked and wasn't making any improvement. Her current level of stamina and focus had helped her expand her business enormously, but she needed something more to get an edge on her competition. When Dominic had told her about all the progress he'd made with Kevin's help, she was obsessed with getting one of the pills for herself. But in spite of all her efforts, she'd come up empty-handed. Then she missed the auction that the Pearl family had held, and she was devastated. It just seemed out of reach, even though she would have been willing to spend 10 times what the old gentleman had. Now she saw what she'd been looking for so long, and it was in Kevin's hand. What she didn't expect was for him to casually pop it in his mouth. This instantly made Gwen furious. Why did you do that? Gwen roared wildly. You're already too far advanced for it to do anything to help you. What a waste. Suddenly, Kevin saw a flash of steel in front of his eyes. Gwen had pulled a sword from the display stand behind the couch. Kevin moved nimbly and stepped into her blind spot, taking her balance and getting control of the sword, which he took from her hands and threw against the wall, shattering it into pieces. Gwen was furious and shouted, "I'm going to kill you!" As it turns out, the sword was very important to her. She'd found it years ago and had gone to a lot of trouble and expense to make it hers. "Remember, if you kill me, you won't be able to get any other herbal medicine," Kevin said calmly. "Do you have more?" Gwen asked in disbelief. In her research, she discovered that pills like the one that Kevin had given her brother were very rare, and you had to be extremely lucky to find one. How could he possibly have more of them? "Not only do I have more, but I can get you as many as you want," Kevin said casually. "You—" Gwen was so shocked that she couldn't finish her sentence. Seeing the surprise on Gwen's face, Kevin didn't waste any more time talking to her. He grabbed a bowl from the table and looked at her confidently. He knew that the ingredients were fairly common. The key to preparing this kind of herbal medicine was the skill of the apothecary who was making it. After spending all that time with his mentor, the Night King, concocting a pill for Gwen Archer would be a piece of cake. "Be careful, that's a very valuable bowl," Gwen warned him. "Do you want the pill or don't you?" Kevin asked her.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.